The garden route in the Western Cape takes you along the most beautiful places in South Africa, with the official start of the route at Great Brak River. Because of the possible erection of a depolymerisation plant, the fresh air, pristine beauty, and quality of life for thousands of residents and the tourism industry are now under threat. Residents and businesses represented by the Taxpayers Association of Great Brak River have lodged appeals against the granting of air emission and waste management licenses.
We only got to hear about this right at the end of the whole process, which had actually started in February last year, and we got to hear about this at the end of October. I received an official letter informing us as a Ratepayers Association actually on the 18th of November, and the cut-off date for our appeal process comments based on this report was the 27th of November. So we had very little time to do it in, but we did our best and we did hand in many comments, and amongst others, one of the main comments that we received was from a scientific advisor who has a PhD degree and who actually sat and did a complete report assessment on this document, which was then handed over to us as part of the Ratepayers Association. The erection of the proposed pilot depolymerisation plant at Great Brak River raises several concerns regarding the following. Number one, the emission of highly dangerous, toxic and carcinogenic substances and smoke is possible. Number two, the process is extremely complex. Number three, the process will produce dangerous chemical wastes from spent scrubber solutions. Number four, the amount of waste to be treated is huge, much more than just for a pilot plant. The site is in an ecological sensitive area in proximity of several game farms, dairy farms, and normal farmers, chicken farmers, and so forth. The site is near residential areas, including retirement villages like Grootbrak.
I lived and worked in the United States of America, of which I am a citizen, for 24 years, and I consulted for huge American companies. But I saw in the waste management license and quotes and sayings, which to me is unacceptable and would never pass the test with any of my clients in the US. In my opinion, I think this is an amateur job. The science is very debatable. I have not yet read any of the documentation where I haven't found loopholes and conflicting and misleading statements.
Our vision in terms of air quality is to have air quality worthy of the name's garden route. So we won't jeopardize and compromise the health of our people if we're not sure that the facility will affect the people's health negatively. That's why we took into consideration the specialist air quality study. We even went further. We asked the specialists to model not only South African air quality standards are applicable, because all of the pollutants that he modeled didn't have ambient air quality standards for the South African environment. So we asked him to revise the study to actually base it on international standards where there are specific air quality standards for all the pollutants. And based on that as well, based on that figures, the impact is actually very low.
I'm against this Rooikat project because of the obvious environmental impact and possible health issues that can come after a while with the polluted air that people will breathe in. I find it very suspicious that 3 of the directors of the Rooikat project also have very senior positions at Petro SA. Also that one of the directors of the Rooikat project have a husband that has a senior position at the Mossel Bay Municipality. The whole proposal of this project mentioned that they have a definite letter of intent to purchase from an international food company with a factory in Mossel Bay. However, when I contacted both the factory and the head office of this international food company, nobody knew about this project. So how could they have a letter of intent to purchase but nobody know what Rooikat means.
I also find it very suspicious that as in this country filled with corruption, that it seems to be that it's who you know, and that's how you get permission, because this is potentially a multi-million rand, and I believe billion rand worth of industry. So it's going to foul up our environment totally. It's going to become an industry hub and a cesspit.
The provisional atmospheric emission license is a tool to regulate the industry, and they have to comply. From the onset, they have to install a continuous emission monitoring system to continuously measure the emissions so that we can actually monitor that. And if it's exceeding, we can actually do some enforce administrative action to actually get them in compliance, or if they're still out of compliance, we can actually also withdraw the atmospheric emission license.
One of the most relevant expansions that we have had over here is our local population. Wolvedance has been created, which is a short distance away from this plant. Wolvedance is where our local residents live. They've all got their own little homes there, and it's quite densely populated. We do have the problem that this area is very close to where they are, and I think these people are the ones that could actually also be affected to a very large extent.
Die gemeenskap wat die meeste gaan geraak word, nou op die oomblik wat ek sien, is Greenhaven. Maar by Greenhaven was geen deelname prosesie, en self in die groter Great Brak River. Dit was vir my voorkom, maar ek weet nie of het so is dat Rooikat gebruik of misbruik hierdie COVID tyd om die projek deur te druk eigenlijk, en so verstaan. En Rooikat is ook nie genee vir publieke deelname prosesie. Nee, ek hou van dat iemand geïngeligte besluit moet maak, verstaan nie. Daarom voel ek, sê maar die twee opponerende partye moet by mekaar kom. Dit wil sê ons as die publiek kan moes dan al die inligting kry wat ons op besluit kan maak en so. Ek het ook geleer dat jy kan nie sommer net beswaar maak en so nie, verstaan nie. En veral ons as Greenhaven besigheidsforum is besig om werkskepping hier in Greenhaven te genereer. Nou, as jy vir 'n persoon gaat sê in Greenhaven dat jy het 'n fabriek wat werk so geskep het, teengestaan, dan verstaan hulle mos nie dit nie, en so nie verstaan.
It has been said that this will provide employment for them. This is actually not true. And if I may just quote from the supplier's own website, he says the following: manpower requirements. During stable operation, 3 to 4 people are required.
If you start introducing these plants into the area that we are staying in, more and more industry will come here at Great Brak. For me, it's about nature. We need to secure nature for the people and the children for the future. Why are we here? Are we here to actually promote the environment and keep it safe for the next generation? Or are we here to demolish it and tear it down to the ground?
The world needs these kind of plants. But it should go to Mossdustria or to PETROCHEMICAL, because that is where you've got so many of this industry there, and that is the ideal place. But as I say, no one wants it. You don't want it in your backyard. But really, to put it in Great Brak, in this little coastal town, it's going to change our character. It's not going to be Great Brak anymore, because it's going to be inundated by foreign people working. I'm not talking South Africans, and the air and the everything and the trucks. So I think Mossdustria makes the most sense.
The air emission license has since been suspended until the appeal processes have been finalized.